Hello, everybody. Hello, CvR community. This is Recon Major Aaron. As always, back at you again with another CvR video. Now, with that retarded generic YouTube intro aside, we have an objective before us today. This is a tier list that some fucking bastard made, and we're gonna do it. We're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna go from the top all the way down to the bottom. Some of you might already know what my thoughts are on. Most of them, probably not. I will say some of these classes I haven't played myself, such as EOW, but excuse me. But that doesn't quite mean I can't pass judgment on how I would enjoy them or how I feel they would be to play on the delivering end rather than the receiving end. Let's start at the top left with LVET Medic. I'm going to place LVET Medic at C tier. Why? Medical units in CvR are already unfun to play as, generally speaking. Now, this isn't always true. I really liked playing Helix back when I was in that division, and Medic was enjoyable back when I was in that division some time ago. But LVET Medic, being a direct downgrade to regular Resistance Medic and Helix both, lacks a really powerful mechanic, which is reviving players. The healing is nice, sure, but you can't do shit about dead players, unfortunately. And I feel that that just kind of makes it feel more like a direct downgrade to Medic, which is, well, fine. I'm just not going to play it. Kilo. I'm going to put Kilo in B tier. And what I mean by B tier is my opinion on vehicle classes solidly is I sometimes enjoy playing them and I sometimes don't. It depends on the map, it depends on who's online, and it depends on so many things that you can't really get a consistently enjoyable experience out of the class, at least from my perspective. I've not played a lot of vehicle classes, so I could very well be wrong, but vehicle classes, in my opinion, if I'm playing them, it's kind of a 50-50 shot as to whether or not I'm actually going to enjoy playing it on that given day. If there's a lot of heavies or ballistas on, depending on my side, I just don't play the class. That's just kind of how it goes. Foxtrot, I'm going to also put in B tier for the exact same reason. Yeah, for that exact same reason. SU. SU, now, SU is one of the classes that I haven't played. But its accessibility to the disguise kit and the ability to emulate the loadout of any given class on the server easily puts it in S tier. Why? Because every life, an SU has the option of playing as any class in the game, essentially. More or less. And that gives you a huge amount of versatility in the way you want to play the game. I'm sure there are people in Spectre Unit that just stay in Spectre Unit because they don't need to necessarily join other divisions on behalf of that disguise kit. Is this always true? I don't know. But I feel that it's a very, very enjoyable class. And also, being an infiltration class, there's a lot of room for memeing about and doing stupid shit. Rogue Unit. I'm going to put Rogue Unit as a solid A tier. RU is generally an enjoyable class. Their shotgun is very powerful. Their shield nowadays is extremely powerful. I'd argue that it's even overpowered, owing to the fact it's essentially indestructible. But one thing slows it down for me. Their speed. Literally, it slows it down for me. I can't give it S tier with a good conscience because myself as a player, and you'll see this as the tier list continues, I don't find slow classes enjoyable. And the reason why I don't find slow classes enjoyable is because it's harder to get into the action itself. With the way the new squad spawning system works, you can't spawn near people that are too close to enemies anyway. So it gives rogue units trouble getting into a fight. They have lower... What is it? I don't know what the term would be, but it takes longer for them to get into a fight on average. While their survivability is through the roof, owing to their shield, I just don't find slow classes fun to play, personally. But it is a strong class that is enjoyable to play. So we have to give it that. Medic. I'm going to put Medic in B tier. Again, and B tier is essentially, in my eyes, the 50-50, some days I enjoy it, some days I don't, it depends category. The Medic is, again, one of those tiers where I simply cannot consistently say if it's a fun class or unfun class to play. It depends on the day that you get on the server. Who's on the server, what map it's on, stuff like that. If it's sniper hell, don't play the game. Just don't play on Medic. Just don't play at all. Outlands used to be terrible. I know Def and Main is also terrible for that. There's just certain classes that you just don't play on certain maps, and I feel that Medic is one of them, and Medic's fun factor gets severely bogged down by things such as certain classes just straight up destroying it, in my own opinion. Synth Elite Soldier. I don't think I need to explain anymore. Elvet Fighter. We're going to put Elvet Fighter... Wait, by fighter do they mean assault? Hold on. Oh, no, okay. I see what they mean. Elvet Fighter. I'm going to put Elvet Fighter in kind of B tier. Depends on the day. Plus, I haven't played Elvet for a while, so their loadouts are like way different from what they used to be. I'm not familiar with the class. I'm not familiar with the class really to give many judgments on it, but I'd say it's probably about B tier. Depends on the day. All right, this one's going to be a bit of an interesting one. EOW. Why? Why did you do this? I don't like EOW. And yes, partially it's because they're slow. But it's also owing to the fact that EOW itself is a unit that's very potent by themselves. And as such, it kind of takes away from the necessity of team play for some classes. Some classes like Medic absolutely rely on the presence of other people to succeed and to use, what the class is good for. Because at that point, why not just play anything else? If you're just solo on the server by yourself, why play anything else? Well, why not just play something else? Like Rogue Unit. Elite, Overwatch, and I think the same's going to go for HECU. Let me find that. Where is it? Because these are essentially the same class, except with different guns. HECU and EOW are slow, which is already a mark against them. Their weapons are strong, which is a mark for them, but generally speaking, they're not very fun to play as. They're really good at killing things, and that's just kind of it. That's kind of all they're good at. They don't have any special mechanic. They don't have any special stats or anything like that. They're very boring. They're basically a direct upgrade to MPF Union, which is right here, or NCO in this case, and like the Resistance Fighter, or NCO in this case, since they only have for some reason this tier list only has the NCOs, but whatever. I guess that's fine. They're just a direct upgrade to the basic classes. Why? Also, I mean, shoutouts to my HECU and EOW boys, because you guys never get promoted. you never get promoted. I genuinely mean that. That stereotype is real. You just don't get promoted. Elvet Sniper. Just play Sniper. Just play Resistance Sniper. Just play Resistance Sniper. Don't. OTA Shotgunner. That goes up into S tier. Wait a minute, Aaron, you said that slow classes, you don't like slow classes. Why is Sword in S tier? It's the auto shotgun. The auto shotgun is one of the most satisfying things to use in this game. If you've never played Sword before, I recommend that you join it, even if you just don't do an activity check and get kicked right the fuck back out within a month of joining. It doesn't matter. Just go in for at least a little while and try the shotgun out. And let me know how you feel when you turn a corner and blast a group of 3 people into fucking oblivion with a single magazine. Just let me know. Just let me know how that feels. This class is just fun to play. This is fun. OTA Sword is fun. Thank God for Sigma. God bless Sigma. MP. Military police. What do you mean military? Where would military police go, right? In this big tier list, where does MP fit in? And where does NPU fit in? I'm gonna put MP in C tier. And the same thing, actually no, MPU's got a little bit more inventiveness, but I guess the jury is also going to go here because they're essentially the same. MP and jury, the basic cuff classes, the problem with them is that their enjoyability heavily relies on the individual's ability to cap targets, right? Because cuffing your own people is never fun. That's never fun. Disciplinary action is not fun. It's just annoying and it's just tiring. But capping an enemy, right? The fun factor of this is heavily dependent on a lot of things. Your own ability to make it fun for the cap, which is almost never possible. The captures, what is it? Disposition to, going with it. And a lot of captures, a lot of people don't like being dragged out of the fight to have to sit in a fucking jail cell. If anybody's familiar with the stereotype with getting capped by a jury, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. If you get capped by a jury, it's going to be the worst 10 minutes of your life, or the worst. Is it 15? What's the maximum cap time again? I don't remember. It's either 10 or 15 minutes, but it's going to be the worst. That's going to be the worst 10 or 15 minutes of your fucking life. They're literally either going to kill you on the spot after they painstakingly log you, or they're just going to have you sit there, max your timeout, and then either enslave or just kill you, depending. It's just bad. It's just bad. MPs are basically never on anyway, so I can never really. I've never been capped by an MP before, so I'd imagine it's kind of mostly up to a lot of factors, and just generally, it's just unfun to play as in terms of combat. They're necessary units, but they're not very fun to play as in terms of deploying. Ballista. See, now, if I've ever joined Ballista, I'd have a formed opinion on this, but I haven't. But the idea of destroying vehicles, blowing shit up, is very fun to me. And I'm going to put heavy in the same spot, because heavy is fucking cool. Anti-vehicle classes are fun. And this is coming from somebody that played a lot of Battlefield back in the day and fucking hated vehicles, as we all should. Vehicle players are some of the most fucking toxic and brain-dead players on Battlefield. It's not like that on CvR, but on Battlefield, I fucking hated vehicle players. They fucking suck. They were the worst thing ever to counter, and almost nobody brought a rocket launcher. These guys are kings. Every ballista and heavy that you see on, you must refer to as king in the chat when they blow up a vehicle. Because vehicles in this game are very powerful. They're not broken like in Battlefield, but they're very powerful. And heavies and ballistas really like to blow them up. I'm just really thankful that they exist and that enough of them are on consistently that the server isn't just vehicle hell like it was like last year. Alright, Technician. Same slot with Foxtrot and Kilo. Basically the same experience with a few different vehicles. MP Heavy. MP Heavies are a little different from MPs. They get grenades. I put them in B. I'm gonna put them in A. I'm gonna put them in A. That fucking grenade is hilarious. I love that grenade. Very funny grenade. There you go. Engineers. No, I don't want to put them in D. I don't want to put them in D, do I? See, building classes, right? We'll just put this. I have to talk myself through this because this one's a hard decision. Building classes in CvR have always been inherently weak. They're heavily dependent on your teammates. You're nothing without your teammates as an engineer. Unlike medic who can actually heal themselves with their own shit, engineers literally can't do anything without teammates. The best thing you can do is build artillery, and that's like it. And that's not fun at all. You're just sitting in the back of the map calling artillery strikes on shit. Gay, 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 gay. Building bases, though, has the potential to be really strong or really weak, depending on not the engineers or, in this case, Grid's skill in building, as well as how the team utilizes it / if they utilize it at all. So with that in mind, the fun factor for engineer for me personally and Grid, and this is only, I'm going to say that this is not, none of what I've said in this is a fact. None of what I'm saying is fact. You don't think this way. Because I hate building in Gary's mod, so they go to D. They go to D not because they're bad, but because I just don't understand the playstyle. I can't build in Gary's mod. I admit it. I'm a terrible builder. I can't build for fucking shit in Gary's mod. I know. I almost have 1,000 hours in Gmod, and I've never really built anything. I've always just played on, like, basically this server. I don't build. Sorry. Skill issue. Vortigaunt's a fucking D. Vortigaunt sucks. Vortigaunt is a literal gimmick at best and complete garbage at worst. Useless. Make it into a better class, please. Just remove it and put something else here. Worthless. At least Synth Elite has a gun and has a play style to it, kind of. Vortigaunt is just pointless. NPU Riot. It's very much the same as Rogue Unit. With essentially the same explanation. Very good survivability, but they are bogged down by their movement speed. That can be counteracted with perks, but movement speed. Look, I like going at breakneck pace. I'm sorry. Mace. Everybody knows that Mace is one of the most fun to play classes in the game. Right? That's what you'd think, right? What if I told you that I actually don't like playing Mace that much? I don't like playing Mace that much. They haven't really changed. They're probably... I'd honestly argue that Mace has had the quietest history of dev changes ever. They have such a quiet... They've essentially remained the same class since I joined CvR and have probably been that even before. I'm going to put them at top of B, though. I'm going to put them at the top of B because Mace is pretty good. And behind that, I'm going to put Medic, and Elvet Fighter can stay at the bottom. Trash. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So, Mace, for me, is a 50-50. It depends on who's on. It depends on, the map. If it's a good map to be using the cloaking device and, where people aren't clumped together. It's dependent on a lot of factors. Because playing Mace at best, you're like playing the Spy from TF2. A lot of people liken it to the Spy. But you're sneaking around the map, you're finding people that are isolated and punishing them, you're killing them. And that's what you do. That's the ideal playstyle for Mace. Although most people don't usually take it that way. Most people kind of meme it up because Mace has a lot of, there's a lot of culture around Mace around how it's played. But that's ideally how the class is meant to be played. And I don't find that fun. I find it fun some of the times, but sometimes I don't want to play Mace. Sometimes I want to play something else. I think a lot of people feel the same, honestly. But still. Mace RP is more enjoyable than playing Mace. Well, actually, no. No, I can't say that. Mace RP is definitely not more enjoyable. I'm sorry, Broverun. Resistance NCO. And that goes for MPF Union as well. B, depends on the day. The only thing I'll argue is that it's a good I'm gonna argue for it and say that it's a really good baseline class that has a lot of specialization built into it. I've seen people running around the map really fast as RF or Union. I've also seen people that are built with like maximum armor, move slow as fuck, but can take like as many bullets as almost as many bullets as a fucking OSS before they go down. Like they take mad bullets and just keep coming. I've seen a lot of interesting builds of RF and MPF Union. I feel like it's the blank slate for people that want to try to fuck around with perks and armor setups and try to find something truly funny to play. It's the perfect sandbox class to play with in terms of playing around with perks and loadout and stuff. That's what I'd say. So it depends. B completely depends on how you set your class up and shit like that. Completely dependent on your loadout and what's online. Because if it's an EOWA, if there's an EOWA or a Lambda Assassin on, you're just dead. You just give up, go home. But that's kind of the crux for a lot of classes though. Elvet heavy. I don't know. Worse heavy? I don't know. And PF Helix gonna go right next to Medic because they're essentially the same. Same explanation. Cross. Now, I'm in Cross. I like Cross. I like Cross a lot. I find Cross to be a genuinely fun experience. And the shoutouts to you, Plume, for giving me tryouts. But the FLIR, I know people complain about. I complain about it. It's legal. It's literal. What is it? It's not wall hacks. It's legal. It's legal ESP essentially. It's just legal ESP, except it doesn't work through walls. And you have climb swap, which is epic. You have a DMR, which is epic. You get so much good stuff as Cross. The only thing is that you have like no carry weight, you don't have a lot of survivability, and you're slow as fucking molasses when you have the gun out. I usually just put the gun away and run around, so the speed isn't too fucking unbearable. But Cross, I like Cross. I'm gonna put it in this tier. Whenever I pick Cross on the server, it is almost always enjoyable. I always like playing Cross. It's fun. It's fun. If I want to play on Combine, I play Cross. That's what I do. And then I piss people off. Got him. NPU Sentry. I used to play Sentry back when it had the AR3, right? AR3? Yeah, back when it had the AR3. So, long time ago, I used to play Sentry. And the AR3 was basically like a light machine gun AR2 that had a shit ton of bullets in it. And you basically played it as a support gunner, which I think people still kind of do as sentries. And so, with that said, I like playing support gunners. I'm going to put MPU Sentry actually above Rogue Unit. I find MPU Sentry to be a really fun fucking class. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jury Simps. I'm sorry, Riot Simps. Sentry is the best subclass, in my opinion. And that's fact. Fun to play. I like using... support gunner is fun. OTA Soldier, or rather, Shield, because its name is a little weird. OTA Shield. I mean, it's another shield class. That's got to be fun, right? Ranger. I don't like Ranger. And I don't like Sniper either. I used to be the Colonel of Outlanders, and I never enjoyed playing Sniper. I still kind of don't. And I don't enjoy playing Ranger. And there's a variety of reasons for that. But I'm just going to say the biggest ones. One, you're slow as fuck. You're really slow. Two, the sniper rifle. I do not like bolt-action sniper rifles. I cannot stand them. In Battlefield, could not stand them. I hated playing Recon. Never touched Recon in all of my time playing Battlefield 4, and I never will. I'm never touching Recon in all of Battlefield 4. Never, 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 never. For that reason. Bolt-action sniper rifles, I vomit. I die. Literally. Literally. It's happening right now. The vomit is coming out of my throat. I cannot stand sniping in video games. I just do not enjoy it. And this is coming from somebody, I like to get in people's faces. I like to make it more of a skirmish and a test of skill of who can, hit more bullets or maneuver out of the way of more bullets, who can skew their hitbox better, right? That's how I like to play the game. I don't like playing the game by standing a mile away from where all the action is happening and left clicking on people. I don't. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. And that's all I have to say. Cross is a bit different because they got a fucking DMR, and they also have legal ESP. So that's kind of my differentiation. I know I sound like a massive hypocrite. Oh, I hate snipers. I hate snipers. Cross, ooh. But giving him climb swept, like giving sniper class like improved mobility options, a DMR, and infrared sight changes a lot about it. I say it makes a huge change from ranger and sniper. So that's why I like it. And the final one, the last one on the list, the one you've all been waiting for, Scavenger. My class. What I'm known for. I've been around for almost 2 years on CvR, and I think, I have always been in Recon or Scav, as it used to be called, when we still had the ability to scavenge shit, and before I renamed it to something cooler. Dab. People who want it changed back to Scav, Mauled, Cope. But Scav, see, I want to do this. I want to just do this and call it a day. I want to just say that it's the best class in the game, right? I do. I really do. But I can't say that about it. I'm not going to put it in D. I was going to put it back down, but I can't put it back down now because it's the last one, right? Can I not take it out? Here, I'll just put it in B, and then I'll change its position when I've decided on it. So it's going to be here for now. Scav or Recon. There's a lot to talk about with the class. I have the most experience with this class in the entire game, and I've gone back and forth with Sentinel over a long period of time since 2.1, trying to decide how to play the class. And I think nowadays, I think it's perfected. I think we have it exactly in the niche it needs to be. But where does that niche fall in terms of how fun I think it is? I love movement-based classes. Scav is the fastest division in the game that isn't handpicked. We are the fastest, period. We go the fastest, and we benefit the most from movement speed. Nobody moves as fast as we do. And that's just a fact. On top of that, we have Climb Swept, which gives us more movement options. We have Run and Gun on the M3, allows us to shoot while sprinting, so we can do some serious jukes. Everything in the class is built for movement. But the problem that comes in with the class that gives it a downside, right? Its downside is that on open maps like Outlands, on open maps like Def and Main, if you get caught out in the open, you are screwed. There is nothing you can do. No matter how fast you move, no matter where you go. Why? Because the maps are too open. You cannot go anywhere on open maps if you get caught out in the open. This is a problem for every class, so of course it's kind of discounted. It's something you get used to with maps like Def and Main and maps like Outlands, which, I mean, it's been taken off the rotation, but other maps like Stalker as well, like the big open maps that everybody would always complain about. Everybody complained about it because if you get caught out in the open, especially by a sniper, you're fucking dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. Literally, there's nothing you can do about it. Scav, Recon, both, I'm going to keep swapping between the names because fuck you. They have a little bit of wiggle room. They can still dead-ass sprint to one side and hope they make it, and they probably have a chance of making it, but we're really, really good for tight maps like City 13. And everybody loves City 13. We're good for tight, close quarters maps where we're able to duck around corners and use our movement to the best of our ability. Although in those same maps, in the current meta, a lot of those same maps like City 13 have a lot of invisible walls where you can't climb sweep on top of a lot of the buildings, which does limit your flanking opportunities quite a bit. I feel like, in my opinion, and this goes out to the devs if they see this video, which they probably won't, because this is more just a funny video I thought I'd make real quick to just talk about my own fun with the classes in this game. I feel like what would be a really interesting map, agree or disagree with me on this, but adding a map with more verticality, like a much more present vertical component to it, like with multiple floors of combat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. Think of like a City 17 type environment, and but you know that part in point insertion in Half-Life 2 where you're walking through the apartment building and you're looking in and at all this, you kind of go into the little apartments and you see all the civilians just chilling out in the shitty ass squalor of, you know, Combine rule. What if every floor? What if the streets were tighter than that? They were like smaller streets, right? And you know, and these were but the streets were basically nothing but complex multi-floored buildings, and that was the buildings, and the streets were tight corridors with alleyways that run through. They're very tight map. With maybe some sewers component, like maybe a downward level to it, like a sewers component that's more open and allows you to move more freely. So, you know, to avoid getting shot from a mile above you. But on top of that, every level of the apartments are just trading gunfire with each other. That's a really cool image. Like the second floor, third floor, they're all trading their own gunfire, shooting up and down across the floors. Like, that's a really cool idea. I feel like Recon would benefit from that. I'd be really interested in seeing how we work with the verticality component to it. I think it would be kind of fucking cool. And of course, you can always introduce map components like roofs and stuff built into the streets, like the tight streets, like little slum roofs that block bullets and shit like that, so people had cover from the vertical component. That's a talk for another time, right? Let's get back to the point at hand. I'm gonna say that Scavenger is actually here. Wow, you didn't even put your own class in S tier. Damn. Scavenger isn't the most enjoyable class. Sometimes it is extremely frustrating to play as. Sometimes your movement just isn't gonna work. Sometimes the map is covered with snipers. No matter where you go, no matter how wide you flank, somebody will see you and kill you, and you just can't use any of the tools Recon is built to use. And if you take all that away, if you make it so our movement doesn't matter and our flanking doesn't matter, we are nothing more than a fast RF, and that is all we are. We are only a fast RF. If you take that all away. But that almost never happens. We are almost never in a situation, or the server is never in a situation like a map with like people online where that is the case. There's almost always a way, and I always say that to people who are new to the class, is there's always a flanking route. There's always a point of infiltration to everywhere on the map. Everywhere. There's always a place you can flank through. It's just a matter of knowing the map. But in very few circumstances, like on Outlands famously, you just can't go anywhere. There's just nowhere you can hide. And that's probably because of the mountains, to be honest. But there's nowhere you can hide. And at that point, you are screwed. There's nothing you can do. Anyway, that about concludes it for my tier list, actually. I don't have anything more to say. So, let me know what you think. I'll see you around.